Good evening, everyone. It's 10 o'clock here in Maryland, and today we have another episode of Late Night Real Estate. And tonight we're going to talk about three things in general. First of all, our prayers go out to those who have lost their lives, those who have been injured, and those especially who are lost and their families with the Key Bridge accident. It's definitely a sad thing. And excuse me, very surreal. A lot of people have been very saddened by this. A lot of people have been affected by it, but none more closely than those who have lost their lives, the guys that were working on the bridge and everything. So we want to definitely take a moment out, say a prayer for them, and just keep them and their families in your prayers as we go throughout this week. So I'm just going to take a moment of silence for a minute to recognize them. All right, so please keep them in your prayers. And tonight, we're going to talk about two main things. We're going to talk about market update as we do every Tuesday. And then we're also going to talk about, excuse me, looking around. Everyone says they're looking around. So we're going to talk about looking around tonight. First, we're going to share my screen. And where are you? Let's see. We need to go to Safari and we need to go to, oh, it's not there. Got it. It didn't come up. Let's try it again. I don't see it on my face though. Sharing it here. It's not sharing with you guys. I've had a lot of technical issues tonight. That's why we're about a minute or two late. Share. Oh, I hope this is going to work. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but I can't see that you can see it. Let's try this one more time. Okay, so now we're just gonna maximize this, and let's see if I can share the entire window. Well, that worked. I just maximized it. It's literally blinding me right now because it's on this enormous screen, but you guys can see it and it's working. All right. So here's the update. Sorry for the huge delay, everyone. Showings down a little bit. New purchase contracts up 3%. Okay. This is from last week. Median time to contract down 1 day to 17 days. New listings up 0.8%. Median list price 419.9, basically went down a couple bucks. Active listings 27,071 for this area, up 1.1%. I don't care if it's up 0.1%. The fact that it's up means that the number of listings is growing. Okay, number of active listings with a price decrease has gone up 0.5%. It's canceled listings has gone up 12% since last week. Not a ton. 12% would not be a huge jump for this. Okay. But what we have here, most importantly, active listings up to 27,000. It's up 9% over last year. So that's our rapid moment here. Let's go into the next screen that I want to share. And this is having a look around. Okay. I am going to have to share this screen here. Let's see if I can get this to cooperate. Let's get my calendar off and my notes. And we've got Bright, but we don't have the right Bright. I can get back to Bright. No, that's not what I want. So we're going to go back over here and get Bright. Okay. So what I did for tonight's lesson here is taking a look around. And what I wanted to see, sometimes I pull zip codes. Tonight I decided to just do Baltimore City and Baltimore County. What do you get for $500,000? And I only did exactly $500,000. There's 4 listings. So none of this was like pre-planned at all. So what I've got here is listing number 1. Here's listing number 1. Looks like appears to be a rancher. And I have a bad habit. It's probably pulling too much bandwidth for me to go flip through all the pictures right now. But I have a bad habit of flipping backwards through the pictures. I like to see what the worst parts are. So just as an overview here, this 5310 Bangor Street in White Marsh, $500,000. And some of the things that I want to point out to you, not so much bedrooms and bathrooms, stuff like that, but what I want to point out to you is looking around. So when people say they're just looking, what are they looking at? Well, here's some of the things you should be looking at. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this over here. And this is the map that you guys will see when you go into the MLS. A couple of important things I want to point out about this. When you're looking around, you definitely want to look around. I used to say that before I bought my next house, I wanted to take a helicopter ride throughout the area so I could see everything that was around, like what's nearby, what's on the other side of those trees that I can't see. Well, you don't need a helicopter ride. You don't need to spend, $400 or $500 for someone to tour you around the area. You can go on the maps that are provided for you. Or I'm also going to show Google Maps, which has much better resolution. So let's jump into this lot right here. Okay, so what we can see, if you click on it here, you can see who owns it, how long they've owned it, how much it's listed for, etc. You can also see the outline of the lot. You can see that it's on Bangor Avenue. It backs to other houses, and it backs to houses that are on Forge Road. And then these houses across the street look like they're double lots. And then that backs to Bush Road. Okay. These little circular things all over the place are above ground pools. Seems to be quite a few of them in this neighborhood. You've got this, and then you've got maybe some kind of shed structure or something like that in the back. But let's jump out for a minute, and let's not forget this. Big Gunpowder Falls coming right through here. Okay. And then you've got over here Philadelphia Road. So there is definitely, hopefully this stays protected, but there is definitely room for, things to grow and expand here, but you are nestled tight in this neighborhood. So this view that you see right here, these lines really aren't good enough for you to be able to detect, for example, is your neighbor's fence over the line or something. That's not what this is for. But it's really just to see, okay, what's going on here. Because keep in mind, this is shot at an angle. So these lines are always going to be like a couple of feet off. You can see from the front, because of the angle, that it looks like part of the driveway isn't really your driveway. Okay. Now, if we look at, here it is in Google Earth, sorry, not Google Maps, Google Earth. So you can just look this up yourself. You see a much better view. You can even see the condition of the roof from here. Okay. So it's pretty amazing. You can see the green water in the pool. This looks like a kid's shed or a dog shed or something like that. At the tree, you've got the sheds here, long driveway back to it, little walkway / driveway to the house as well. Chimney does not look like there's flue caps on there. And anyway, you get a really good view of what's going on here. And if we start to zoom out, you get a feel that your neighborhood is very much right in the middle of suburbia there. And we can see everything around it there. Gunpowder Falls. And keep in mind, you're right here. So here's everything around you. kind of is very humbling when you look at it from this perspective. All right, let's go into the next listing. So let's get rid of this screen and let's go to the next guy. Another $500,000 house here. So this kind of caught my eye. This guy, oops, make this bigger for you guys here. This guy's a pretty big house over in Pikesville. So kind of wanted to take a look at this and see what was going on here. Here's the front of the house. This guy is a monster. You can tell that in its day, this house was the cat's meow because of the sheer amount of wallpaper that is in it. Nice kitchen, some upscale appliances. This is probably back in the day before marble, so you're not going to see marble in here, but pretty large living room, chandeliers everywhere, paint peeling, bottled water stored in there, brick, hardwoods everywhere. Lots, it looks like a dance studio, lots of stuff. Anyway, I'm getting off task. Let's look at the map. So if I go into Bright and I look at Bright's map, one that's a little bit lower resolution, we're going to see, what is this thing in the middle of? So we've got 695 splitting off to 795, 695. So we're kind of like right on the edge of Randallstown here, Pikesville. Okay. So let's zoom in on this. You can see the neighborhood view. Looks like a school. Looks like a couple ball fields up here. It looks like a lot of green coming through here. And then as we zoom in, you can see Belfort Court has a little cul-de-sac of sorts here. It's not round, but it's kind of like a cul-de-sac. And then you've got these two, pretty large properties here. But the houses, properties themselves aren't really nearly as ginormous as the house that is on it. This house right here is roughly any two of these other houses. So you can see that it's kind of nestled in there. As large as that house is, you would expect to see it in something that has a lot more acreage in it. So let's take a look. One Belfort Court in here. Zip to the other side of the beltway here and zoom in. You see there's a lot of tree cover in here, but you can see they've got a pretty nice little lot here, but it is not huge. Definitely not what I would consider fitting for a 6,000 above grade square foot home. Okay. So here's what you got. And then of course you have the neighbor with the green pool. Now, next, we're going to jump into the city. So this one is 629 South Dean. So let's get into this map, the Bright map here, which always opens up in the wrong window. That's okay. Let's switch it. Okay. So you see over here, we have Patterson Park and hospital over here. Patapsco, Inner Harbor, and where did my house go? Here we are right here. So let's zoom in on this and see what we see. Now, you're going to see when I click on this, the outline of the lot, which it gets covered up by the thing here. But you can see that it's basically this lot right here with a parking pad and somewhat of a backyard behind it as well. Okay. If we look on Google Maps at this house, make sure I got the right place. Okay, here we go. And zoom in here. You can see a lot more interesting stuff. You see a lot better view here. You can see that they have indeed a rooftop deck, which probably accounts for the $500,000 price. And they have parking. And it looks like It might even extend a little bit past its neighbors. Not nearly as much as this guy's house, though, where he just got rid of his backyard altogether and just made it one big house. So let's take a look back at the listing for a second and see what you get for $500,000 here. Okay, huge $70,000 tax savings. So what they're talking about here is this is a CHAP credit. This is one where they've restored it to much of its original beauty. And for doing so, they get an extreme tax credit. So what they're claiming here, and I have no way of verifying this or backing this up or anything, but they're claiming that over the 10 years that you get the tax savings, that you're going to save about $70,000. So that's probably an average of $7,000 a year. So it stands for Commission for Historical and Architectural Preservation. Obviously, somebody didn't spell check this because that didn't get caught. But here's their first picture, 629 South Dean Street, 4 beds, 3.5 baths. Look at this view from the deck, and the deck just looks enormous. On the inside of the house, looks like a pretty normal row home. It's got some inlays on the floor, exposed brick. It definitely has been staged because I don't know anybody yet that has those round things on their walls. You can tell by the fake TV and everything. If somebody really lived like this, that would be just amazing to me. But it looks like a lot of other houses. Looks like they've really done a nice job with it. There's a lot of rehabs down there that like that. If you're looking for something where you can save a lot on your taxes, just to give you a little bit of perspective, in this market right now, $60 a month is about $10,000 worth of house. So if you kind of equate how much you're saving per month, if you're saving $7,000 a year, that is 56, 64. I don't know. That's probably close to almost $100,000, maybe $80,000 to about $80,000 worth of money that you are saving in taxes, as if you were buying a more expensive house. So what I mean by all of that dribble is the tax savings on this would be roughly the tax savings from going from like almost a $600,000 house to a $500,000 house. I'd have to get in and do the math. So you can see they're saying that the taxes here are $43.18 a year. And that, I guess what they're estimating is that they would have been more like $10,000 a year or something like that. Okay. So more information about that. Let's jump into our last one, which is also in the city. And this is 2400 Druid Hill Avenue. So this is the Round Belly Deli. Sounds like someplace I should visit, but I think it's closed now. So you got this door. It looks like this has been set up as an apartment, kind of an apartment building. You've got several floors, and then you got doors at different levels and everything. Lots of the same color, a little bit drab. Love to come in and shine this up a little bit. A lot of the wood, a lot of the wood shows very nicely, but it's kind of dingy by today's standards. A little kitchenette, some efficiencies. Let's see what this house is all about. So 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 1 half bath. The tax assessed value is way behind, apparently, what it's really worth. 123. Let's see what they say about it. 24. You'll have to come see for yourself. Well kept, possible deli. So I guess the draw to this house is the availability of putting a business on the first floor and then living on the second floor. Okay, the taxes are pretty cheap because the tax assessed value is pretty cheap. Okay, pretty neat little setup there. Let's see where this is at. Is it in an area where we would want to look around? So you got Druid Lake right here. Okay. And it's an end unit. You've got lots of open space behind you. If we click on this, you can see this is roughly their yard. Again, it's a little bit off-centered here. Looks like we've got 5 or 6 different lots right here that are not there for whatever reason. We're at the corner of Druid Hill and Whitelock. And as we kind of expand out, you'll see you're about a block and a half from North Avenue, no matter which way you go. Okay, intersection of Route 1 and Route 40. Let's take a look at Druid from space. Again, let's zoom out a little bit here, see what we've got here. Elementary school, Frederick Douglass High School, Coppin State, Carver Vocational School. So a lot of things nearby here, lots of green space up here. Okay. So if we go back, you can turn this, see what's going on, different angles. See if I can get in here closer to this. Whoa. Spin this around. See if we can kind of see this at an angle here. It kind of gets a little bit distorted when you're looking at it from different things. So like I said, open space behind you here. Your house looks like it's got 3 stories in the front. That you could probably have a deck on the back of it if you wanted to as well. When you're driving up and down the street and you're looking around, you always want to make sure that you have other houses that are well kept around you and not these guys. This is why you want to drive around. See these holes in the roof? You do not want to live anywhere near these guys, because when they're vacant houses, they could be leaking from the roof, and then they're going to leak into your home. It's going to make it much harder for you to get insurance for as well. You want to make sure that you have neighbors with nice, steady, dark black or bright white roofs. This guy right here, his roof definitely needs some love. Okay. I don't know what they've got going on here in the backyard of this house, but that's pretty cool. So you can see they built an extra floor here. And then we've got some random stuff down here, some warehouses. This warehouse is caved in and everything. So definitely make use of Google Earth when you're looking around to see what is around the area that you might be building in, just to see what you've got. It takes 5 minutes. I took 20 minutes, but it takes about 5 minutes to do it. And now you can see what you truly get for $500,000, and you get a chance to look around. So again, keep your fellow Baltimoreans and everything in your prayers tonight as everyone's dealing with this, and just pray that we get through it together. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow night. Thanks again.